Hey, Comic Cubers. Today we're talking to my friend Tom Rodriguez. Tom Rodriguez is best known as an actor here in the Philippines. However, he also draws, and we will be showing you some of his art. He's a very, very, very big fan of comics and cartoons. We will be taking a look at comics art and basically dissecting and analyzing some of them, basically saying how they work and where your eye is drawn to, the use of color, and all of that stuff. So this was a really fun and educational, we both learned a lot, discussion. Also, stay tuned to the very end of this video where Tom and I will be making an announcement together. Now, before we go on, please be reminded that we have a Patreon. If you would like to support the Comics Cube financially, you can subscribe to my Patreon. The link is down below. And basically, going to Patreon gives you access to my posts, to my thoughts about stuff. What do I think of the Thunderbolts? That's coming up soon. And also, in a certain tier, you would be able to get early access to episodes and also a credit at the end of each episode. So again, make sure to stay until the end of the episode for an announcement. Without further ado, Tom Rodriguez. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Comics Cube. I am with Mr. Tom Rodriguez, and we're going to talk about comics art, and we're going to appreciate some comics art as it goes. How are you, buddy?
Hey, brother, I'm good. A little nervous, but excited. I'm all about appreciating art. I love that stuff. So, no better person to do it with than you.
Dude, you know the one question I always ask everyone who comes onto my show for the first time, which is why do you love comics?
Just for the biggest reason is it was the art. It was the art that really drew me in. Even growing up in summer, my mom would always send me out to buy newspapers as a kid so she could do her crossword puzzles. And I'd make sure that like to ask for a little bit of extra, and I'd buy the Pinoy comics, the local ones, and then I draw those, and then you get lost in the stories. Then my dad did, since I grew up in a base in Subic. That's where I was born. So before we migrated sa Samar after Pinatubo, he would always come home from the base with American comics naman. So those were some of my prized possessions that I got to save after we migrated to Samar from the whole Mount Pinatubo thing. So it's been part of my life.
Do you remember the first comics and the first artists that made you realize you wanted to draw or made you realize you love this medium?
I don't know if it's popular or unpopular opinion, but I really loved Kubert's art growing up.
Which Cubert?
Joe,
Joe is
Joe Kubert.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I love his stuff. And I have this book. I can't remember the exact title because I can't find it anymore. I've lost the book, but a book of his of how to draw.
Yeah.
And he
Uh,
went through like different characters. He had the caveman, the soldier. It wasn't the one that was on the wizard. He had his own like how to draw book
yeah.
that I just really loved.
No, dude, in the 90s, I really liked his son's art, Andy
Yeah,
and Adam.
Andy, Adam. Yeah,
But then when I discovered they had a dad and I saw Joe's art, I was like, oh my God, he's so good. He's even better.
yeah. I love it. I don't know what it is exactly about his style, but something about it like feels so realistic, but at the same time so stylized. Like it reminds me of those pinup arts from like the 40s and 50s, like the they had advertisements and stuff like the almost like the Andrew Loomis
Yeah.
type of thing when they do ads for magazines. It you had that kind of quality in the way he would render the faces.
And it's the kind of art that would make you want to draw, right?
Hmm.
Illustrative.
Especially his eyes. His eyes, they were stylized, but like the same time looked so realistic. Like the lines that he would use for the female characters they would do, especially. I really loved it. I don't know. There's something just grabbing about it for me.
Dude, remind me to show you some of the last works Joe Kubert did because
Oh,
because like the thing about Joe that completely astounds me
mm,
is that decades later he was as good as he was before.
really?
Like
Oh,
I
yeah, please.
I don't know who else I can say that about. Like most
Siguro,
everyone has
how
like
about
hand problems, vision problems later on in life.
how about like Alex Nino? Because like even from his books that he's released, not like I don't know if he's released comic books in recent times, but his compendiums of like sketches and stuff like that, like
Well,
they still look really good.
so that's interesting, no? Was it? We're both friends with Jay Ignacio.
Yeah, I know. Small world.
Small world. And Jay wrote a comic a few years ago,
Mm.
and that comic, it's his first
Oh
comic.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they were working on it when I had the pleasure to meet him. Whoa, yeah, yeah, you're right. You're
So,
right.
can you imagine your first comic is Alex Nino's last?
Which I'll have to see. Is that out, by the way?
I have it. I'll show it to
Oh,
you.
I'll have to see. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
That
And
guy too. You and him like are always like I always learn so much. Like
I, I have
yeah,
nothing on Jay. I have nothing on Jay. I just wanted to
he's
clarify.
a treasure trove. That guy.
The interesting thing about Alex Nino, I'll tell you something. I went to the Comiquero Museum last year, um, and so it's full of Filipino comics art and stuff. And I was told that all of the Gen Zers and Gen Alphas, when they go in there, they go straight to the Nino art.
Really?
Yeah, and the explanation is
Whoa.
because his art looks like concept art.
Wow. But he's influenced not even just comic books, but even Filipino artists that work in, for example, production design and in like say Pixar, DreamWorks, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like for example, who was Arman Serrano,
Okay.
who's worked for like Big Hero 6, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, like Lilo and Stitch. His influence, he says, is Alex Nino. Is like biggest influence. So really, his influence just spans
See,
different
I didn't know
industries.
that. Who's the treasure trove now, Tom?
Yeah, little bits of just little nuggets compared to you guys. If I'm panning for gold, I have like tiny little nuggets.
The crazy thing is I was talking to, JV and them. I was talking to them about who who the best Filipino artists were, right? And of course that answer is completely subjective at the end of the day. Um, but I've always liked Alfredo Alcala and Nestor Redondo.
Yep.
But
Oh,
the point was that if Nestor Redondo were to take a break, you could find an artist who could kind of fill in for Nestor. It won't be as good, but it'll kind of be in the same vein. Same with Alcala and everyone. You cannot do that for Alex Nino. If Alex Nino takes a break, you wait for Alex Nino to come back.
to come back. I know, man. It would be bad to say they're not like interchangeable, but I could kind of get a sense of what you mean. For example, Alfredo Alcalas, Tony DeZuniga, Nestor Redondo, Steve Gann, all
Yes.
these artists. They're all great in their own rights, but it's like what they can do is almost kind of overlaps.
Yeah, like they have
West,
similar strengths. They don't look the
yeah, there
same,
you
but
go.
they have
Yeah,
similar
yeah,
strengths. But Alex Nino's strength is not that.
yeah.
It's not that at
Especially
all.
like his imaginative work, like in his sketchbooks, like the imaginative work that are on there on display. Like he even has some brushworks in some of them. Oh, it just looks really beautiful, and you almost want to like plug into his mind to see what he sees or how he to see how he interprets them.
So obviously, guys, you can see that Tom here is a big comic book fan, and he really, really likes the art of comics. And I'm going to show you guys the fact that if you've noticed, Tom has been drawing this whole time because he can't
to
stop.
to calm my nerves.
Some of Tom's art. So Tom, if you take a look at our first slide here, you'll see what looks like Lapu-Lapu. And also some character sketches. And these are completely original character sketches, am I right? Except
I
maybe
would
for
think so.
Zorro over
Actually,
there.
yeah. These ones, I think, just from just a bunch of random sketches. These are from a Pinterest kind of just scroll through. So like Pinterest scroll through of like portraits that I'll just like try to sketch them to practice. This one though, he's not exactly Lapu Lapu, but he is wearing something that's like accurate to that, basing off of like reading the books of Father Francisco Alsina, and let's say Barangay by William Scott Henry, like how they're supposed to be described. I also took this short course by Karakoa Productions. They're
Yeah.
based in Cebu, of these Philippine like pre-colonial fashion revivalists. So this is
Mhm.
based on Visayan outfits from like the 14th to the 15th century. So I try to make it as accurate as I could. So I wasn't able to finish this painting, but the outfit that time would be, let's see, periodically accurate.
So on top of everything else, you're also a history nut, especially for Philippine history.
For pre-colonial Filipino history, I have like I really love it. It really, well, it resonates with us since we're of the culture. But
And
I really love it.
everything on this current slide that we're showing the viewers right now, this is for fun. This is practice. This is
Mm,
your art in practice mode.
yeah, that's
Okay.
the only. It's not even original, like you said. The Zorro one is like a pastiche of Noli Me Tangere and the Curse of Capistrano. So it's supposed to be uh, Crisostomo Ibarra as Zorro. So
That's
coming
all.
back from Spain, having been trained by Diego de la Vega, so he comes back and dons the persona of the fox. Because in Tagalog, apparently Zorro, Soro, is also
Oh,
like
really?
fox. Same with Zorro. Yeah. Kaya sa
Oh,
kanya, it's an S. Almost up sa kakidlat, like the thing, but it's supposed to be an S instead for to skate through copyright infringements.
that's
Since
clever.
both are in the public domain, yeah.
All right. On to the next slide. These are composition studies from various movies and shows, I think, right? That you make. So
Yeah,
you do that as well.
this one is from a book. It's by Hans Bacher. He has a few books on color and composition for films. He's worked for like Disney as well. But apparently, I don't know if it's true trivia, but apparently his wife and him live here in the Philippines. He has a Filipino wife. I've been trying to hunt him down, but kind of lost track of that mission in the past few years. But the first one is from his book, color. What was it? Color and composition for films,
Okay.
and the other ones are just from movies. So I think this one is from I can't remember which movie this was from. It's definitely a Kurosawa. Usually, I would like watch some Kurosawa films or like whatever movie that I'm watching, and I find some interesting composition. I try to do a study based off of Armand Serrano when I took his uh, visual development course,
Yeah.
where he had this thing for creating compositions where you distinguish the camera, the perspective, blocking and staging, then the lighting or the values, and temperature or color. So kind of taking one image and then separating into those. So maybe later on when we examine pieces, we can overlay like these filters that he told me about.
That is interesting. Is interesting way to take a look at the
Mhm.
various elements that go into a picture. This next one is interesting. It's a poster you did for a play, Patenteros
Yeah,
Ayala Avenue.
yeah. One of my really good friends approached me. I think this was 2024 when I just came back from the US. That they were mounting a small like play called Patenteros Ayala Avenue, and if I could like do a poster, and I just tried my hand on it, tried to challenge myself to do something more finished. So I did a lot of driving around Ayala Ave and a lot of time spent with Google Earth,
Mhm.
just just looking through it. But I wish I could show. I don't know why I didn't give you my thumbnail sketches for these when I was trying to look for the right composition for it, and then when I was doing the thumbnails, I thought it would be kind of like a poster size, like an 8:10 type of aspect ratio.
Oh, but it's
Like
bigger.
yeah, but this one, when they showed me some of the posters that they've already had in the past, it was kind of wider. So how the composition thumbnails that I did kind of changed because in the initial one, the Ayala Ave, the sign marker was just really big, almost in the foreground, almost kind of like encapsulating him because they said they wanted him to feel kind of lost in this big city, almost like a lot of possibilities, but at the same time also barriers. So it was really enclosing him. But when the aspect ratio kind of widened, it didn't feel right. It almost feel like it was dwarfing him. Like the bigness, the hugeness of the city was kind of getting lost in that big sign. So I opted for this, just to have like Patintero and Sa in the little building, and then Ayala Ave as the size it would be
In real
in
life.
real life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. It's almost Will Eisner-esque. The Ayala Ave part. Interesting use of screen tones, halftones too.
Yeah, that one. This is the time you introduced me to Bruno Redondo.
Oh my God.
So seeing it in his work, I said I have to try it out. So that was me kind of experimenting. Buti na lang in Clip Studio, making halftones. Like it really makes it easier.
Oh really?
Yeah, it really makes it easy
Okay.
to do halftones there. Even the reverse kind of halftones.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to like do it one by one, but like it was inspired by that. Even the previous iterations that I had, different compositions,
Uh-huh.
because I had to like come back several times. I tried to render out one other thumbnail that I did, and I didn't like it. Even that was also very halftone like inspired. But that's I guess that's a Duitano influence.
We might be talking about Bruno Redondo later.
Oh yeah, dude, I
Okay.
love his work, but it's completely because of you.
Well, he is amazing. And I didn't realize like he's so big now because I had a younger artist come on the show, and
Mhm.
then she said to me like, "Oh, I didn't realize you had so many big names on your show, like Bruno Redondo." That Bruno
Uh,
Redondo was her example, and I was like, "Okay, to me the big names are Mark Wade, Bill Sienkiewicz, older people. I
yeah,
mean, people with age, people with more experience,
with
people
with tenure.
with tenure, people who were around before the 21st century."
Yeah, 'cause,
Okay.
before I'd be honest, I hadn't heard of him, but oof, his work is beautiful. At first, when you said his name, I thought it was like, is he related to like Nestor
Nestor.
Redondo?
Yeah, no. I thought so too. Do you know what his next work is going to be?
Mm-mm.
Have I not told you? His next work is going to be treasury sized, so oversized, a
Mm.
volume in July. Superman.
But what do you mean oversized? Like oversized in print, or when he makes it, kind of like how Alex Ross when he paints in gouache, like his comic books painted are like big and they shrink it.
It'll be printed in a
So the issue itself is going to be printed big.
like in a this size.
Whoa.
I think somewhere along those lines. Maybe a little smaller, but it'll be bigger than your regular size comic.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see like his panel work because he's always so inventive with how he does his stuff. So given more real estate, I
And
wonder
Superman.
what he'll do. Yep,
It's possible,
Superman.
guys. If you pay enough attention to mine and Tom's backgrounds, we might be Superman fans.
Yeah.
So that is very exciting for the both of us. Okay.
Yeah, the last work I saw from him was the All Star. What was it? The Wonder Woman.
Yeah. That actually came out before Nightwing.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
came
that
out
was
before.
the last one that I got to look at.
Yeah, his Nightwing run ended like maybe 6 months ago. It's so
Ooh.
good,
Oh, I haven't kept up.
dude. I have all of it. I'll give it to you.
So yeah.
Yeah, because
But he's so far just done Superboy, right? From the Nightwing stuff. So he hasn't done
uh,
Superman yet.
I don't remember. No, Superman is in it for a little bit.
Oh yeah. That's
Superman's
right.
in it for a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, my
When
brother's
he's
favorite,
giving Dick advice, yeah.
my brother's favorite characters ever are
Sup-
Superman and Nightwing.
Superman, yeah. You showed
So
me the Superman toy that he had
yeah,
that Ate Lynn gave him.
and he loves that Nightwing run. So I think you would love that Nightwing run.
Dude, I
Yeah,
gotta dive back into it.
yeah, I'll bring it up later. For dinner. Okay.
Oh
We
yeah,
we
should we say our connection that unknowingly we're like practically family, I guess.
knowingly we're related. Tom is my sister-in-law's cousin.
that I had no idea.
And also my mother's next door neighbor.
Neighbor that I had no idea either. Like it was like, and we all live in the same building,
All lived in the
all of
same
us.
building. We did not know this until
Yeah,
last year.
but we've all been here for forever.
I know, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's why it's awesome. I love how that worked out.
It's like, how did this happen?
You can't get better odds even in bingo.
We have your drawings. These were made public.
Yeah, I wouldn't say commission since I didn't get paid for them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I was the guest host for Unang Hit. It's a morning show
Yeah.
in GMA, and for that week I will be their guest host. They call it hostmate since they were tying it up with the whole PBB housemate
Uh,
thing, and that was when they were doing a tribute for the superstar to Miss Nora Honor. So the night before, they asked me if I could like do a portrait, like a sketch of her, and I got immediately nervous because I didn't know if I'd have enough time to do it and what method I was going to do, if I was going to do a grid method to really get accurate likeness. But since I'm a dad now and my son wants to kind of be nosy with what I'm doing. He's 10 months old. So when I'm on my iPad, he tries to kind of grab it, stuff like that. So I was like, I'll just try to freehand it. So
this is Tom
it's
freehanding a drawing, everyone.
it's not the best likeness. So I just try to cheat it with rendering. And the same thing with Pope Francis. The next day,
Hmm.
it was another tribute, like for Pope Francis, and to avoid the same dilemma that I had the night before, especially since this one I wouldn't have much time for. I had to do it there on the studio. I just said, you know what, I'll do a since Pope Francis always gave me that kind of animated, kind of
Yeah.
very charming, very inviting type of vibe. It reminded me of Pixar and Disney animation like characters. So I just tried to do it in an animated style,
Well, here's
make
my
it easier.
question. Here's my question for you, Tom. You do like to draw, and
Mm.
you clearly like to draw in multiple styles. Do you have a
Mm.
preferred style that you go back to?
It changes it within the different eras. I would say there would be time that it'd be Alex Toth, it'd be Adam Hughes was another like huge
Ah,
influence. Jim Lee back in the days, Will Sportacio, and in recent years, anime. I had my whole anime kind of run too. But then Disney, something about like the old nine men, the
yeah,
nine old men of Disney, the rock stars from the '90s, like the Glen Keanes
yeah,
and all that. I don't know. It's like I keep gravitating towards that now in recent years.
yeah. I am also a big Disney fan, as you know, and I have gotten more and more of an appreciation for it as time has gone by. Like just how good it is.
I wonder what it is. It's almost like it calls to you later on in life.
It really does. Like I do remember a time when I didn't really appreciate like Sleeping Beauty.
Mm,
But now when I watch Sleeping Beauty, I was like, oh my god, this movie is
Especially the
beautiful,
backgrounds, right? The
amazing.
I guess we just consume it when we're kids, and it just resonates with us without like intuitively, I guess, without knowing why.
You
But
take it
later
for
on down
granted,
the
right?
road, yeah, you take
Yeah.
it for granted. But it it calls back to you later on in life. You're like, whoa, you really take a kind of deeper look at it, and it's just so much care and so much thought.
The next slide is Tom. Who's this?
It's me and my baby. Since they have this whole well, I love another auteur I love is Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli.
Amazing.
I love all their films. And I was seeing a lot of the AI Ghibli stuff,
Yeah.
and I guess to kind of just rebel a bit, I just said, "Oh, that's cool," but I wanted to kind of just draw it out myself and try my best. I've loved doing that before. Years ago, I did one of Direct Peke Gallaga's Magic Temple.
Yeah.
So envisioning that movie, I was like, "Oh man, that movie would look so cool if like cool as well if it was done by Studio Ghibli. So I've loved drawing, kind of trying to emulate that style too every once in a while. And this was me trying it with my son. I don't know if it was successful. The proportions, looking at it now, is kind of wonky, especially with the little sausage fingers over there holding it. But that was the best I could do at that time,
Well,
which
I
is sad because
mean,
that was very recent.
I think obviously when I isolated this picture, I knew it was you.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very cute picture. So that's basically, so we were showing you guys some of Tom's drawings just to show you exactly why I invited him over on the show to appreciate some art with me. And one of the things that Tom and I talked about recently is, well, you know this. We just talked about him. This is Alex Nino.
I have three of his right here.
Oh wow, you have all of it. That's all in the Comicera Museum, by the way.
And I have like a little sketch from him here.
No, but look at that, right? That almost looks like a single line drawing.
Dude, even that is so elegant.
It's so good, yeah. Like he doesn't even complete any shapes.
But it's like your brain almost fills in. That's why I said, like, I wonder what it would be like to just plug into his mind, because like how imaginative it is. It's almost like you know the hypnagogic state, the
No,
state your
walk me
brain
through it.
gets in like right before you go to dream. Your brain goes to like hypnagogic state where it starts to produce like visuals. So it's not
Mhm.
really dream yet, but it's starting to go into it. It's almost that like it there's these like implied stuff that your brain kind of fills in, but he adds enough information. It's even I think Frazetta has that kind of quality about him as well in his painted work.
I
But I
agree. I
see it
agree with that.
in oof, even it's not just paint but line work. So what if Frazetta kind of does it with his paintbrush,
Hmm.
Alex Nino does it with
With lines.
in line work, and it's just oof,
I
it's
think
almost eerie.
also the thing with Frazetta, um, I see what you're saying. I just think Frazetta's a little more fully formed in his
Hmm.
execution.
Yeah, that's why his is more like dreamlike.
Yes.
Just, oh man, I wish I could just flip through these and
Oh my
show you guys.
God. One of these
Dude,
days we'll do a flip through of these books just to show you guys the greatness of Alex
anyway,
Nino.
I'll put this away because I'll get lost. I'll just go back to the image here.
So this is
I'm sorry
called,
to.
yeah, this is called The Burial of Death. Uh, I'm not exactly sure where it's from, but it is prime Alex Nino. It just goes to show you the imagination of the man.
Geez, like where do you even start? Like when you look at it, it all just hits you at once. But you look at each piece, and there's so much going on.
Yeah, like what jumps out at you?
The foreground characters, like immediately for me, like really grabs my eyes. But then that's what I'm saying. Like if you start going to the back, there's so many of it, and there's all the different layers of characters. But even when it starts to go into the blue background, he still has like people implied. Really like
Oh, that's true.
putting it into your mind that it's like an expansive. It's almost like atmospheric gradation. You know
Yeah,
how when you're
okay.
looking at mountains, like here you look at mountains and the atmosphere kind of takes over, meaning implying distance. Here, even though he's doing it with scale, he's almost also adding that atmospheric gradation to show that it's really just like an expanse of people. So this burial has a lot of attendees.
This burial has a lot of attendees, and we see the birds. Are they birds? Which are nothing like any birds I've ever seen, which is amazing.
Nope. So it'd be like a Adarna type but they almost have like reptilian type of tails, huh?
Yes, they almost look
They're
like
not really like
dinosaurs.
bird. Yeah.
You can also see a flag and the various. Uh, it almost looks like a Kirby-like structure in the back, over there.
But I wonder, is this death here the one that's laying down with the big staff? This is meant to be death, so like the other ones are almost like escorting him, all of the people.
That is a strong possibility. You're right. You're right.
I wonder like where death is that in that because it's the only thing that's almost encased in black and there's like adding contrast. So whereas like right here, the people, it grabs your attention right away because it has the highest contrast. The
Mhm.
person up front, I don't know if that's just from the scan or if the print is like that as well, but my eye goes directly there. But there's almost lines. If you see their staves or their staff kind of like pointing,
It
there's a
points you
lot of like,
downwards.
it also kind of points up to this figure
Oh
right
yeah,
here in the top right. So I
that's
wonder if
right.
that's death
That's
right
right.
there. They're all pointing at him. Even the tails are kind of like leading you back there. So even though they have this like one kind of staff, the element that's like going up right here in the lower left side, it's kind of
Uh-huh.
going this way. It's still kind of making you circle through with the birds, their tails, making you circle back to that one figure right here. That's
That's
the only one in kind of encased in the black, kind of like that.
that is absolutely right. That is absolutely right. You managed to explain to the viewers how the eye would flow, how the eye
Yeah, like the
naturally flows looking at
leading
this image.
lines. That's cool though. That with as much going on, he's still being purposeful. He's not just like if that was me, being a novice. Whenever I try to fill up stuff, for example, when you're just filling up your notebook or you're trying to do work, it's almost like you're adding stuff just for the sake of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's no direction, there's no meaning. But it still seems like even though this is like a jam-packed scene and it could like overwhelm you if you let it, he really is still curating and leading you throughout the whole piece. So it's
He,
not just like a he's not barfing it into the page.
Tom, I my weakness is color. Not that I'm colorblind. It's just that I have no background on color theory or whatever. So can you talk about the colors on this page and how they work together?
Well, it's for me. I see a lot of like complementaries. So it's got like the green in the figures in the bottom. That's
Mm-hmm.
complementary with the red hues, and it's also got blue with the oranges that are also another complementary color. So it's kind of balanced it on that way. Back in school, they would in my color theory class there was this our first exercise was to come up with a color composition,
Yeah.
like color comps, and you do it with like two complementary pairs but in different ratios. So you almost have your main and your accents, and it seems like his main is the red and the green, but the blue is also taking up a lot of it. But the accent of it, you see, there's just hints of orange.
Hmm.
So that's his like secondary pairs, like the blue with a bit of the orange, the complementary. But I wonder why he's using it for, because if you use complementary colors, it makes it more kind of pleasing to the eyes, more
Well,
balanced. But I wonder, like storytelling wise, I wonder if he had a deeper meaning for it, or if he just thought it looked cool.
it is pleasing to the eye, but the way it's drawn, it makes you think it's like, oh, this is not something to be joyful about. You know, this is a morbid scene.
Which you get that feel, but at the same time, he's using happy colors, but you still feel the gravity of it that it's meant to be a funeral.
Yes. That's, man, Alex Nino is so great.
That's kind of wild. How do you do that? Like it's almost like going to music, which I guess like Star Ahmed talked about that too. When you're like doing composition and art, it's no different than composing music. Speaking of another trivia, Coldplay does very upbeat, happy type of music,
But then you
but
listen
they
to the
do it
lyrics.
in no, but
Yeah.
that's just it. The lyrics are kind of can be melancholic, but at the same time, they're done in minor chords.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're doing happy sounding music in minor chords, which is
Interesting.
like a brain F. I don't want to say the word.
It's all
uh,
right. You're a dad now. You shouldn't be saying that word.
I know. But here he's doing the same thing where it's like a morbid scene, but he's using a lot of saturated colors.
Yes.
And yet you're not looking at it, you don't get the impression, oh, this is a happy scene. So I wonder if that was intentional. I wonder what it is about it. It's kind of a cool thing. That's the analogy it's making me think of. It's like Coldplay.
Well, I think also the red is set so that it kind of looks like fire. I don't know if it's
Mm-hmm.
actually supposed to be fire, but it does look like it's fire. So it does heighten the gravity of the situation. Plus, colors or no colors, when you see people that look like soldiers holding weapons, That's going to heighten the gravity
Yeah,
of a scene. Period.
and their expressions too. Yeah, they're just how the faces are rendered. You're right.
They're just sneering. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, Tom. Very recently, I purchased a book. The book is called
Yeah.
the 1982 DC Comic Style Guide, where DC laid out the images to be used for licensing. They were all pretty much mostly drawn by one man, Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez. So, and then you told me you did not know his name beforehand.
Nope.
This is such
But
an
it's
image.
but it's crazy. Like I didn't know him beforehand, but when you think of these characters, his art is kind of like what pops up in your head. It was crazy that even when I saw your video with you opening that book up, I was like, that's so wild how it kind of plucks your childhood heartstrings without even knowing. I was like, who is this person that's like been present in your life unknowingly? And that's why like that episode of yours really, man, really gravitated towards me. I'm gonna have to like take more screenshots. I mean, more pictures of that book of yours.
It's pretty great, and it's all online actually. It's all on Facebook in his
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
group.
You sent me that one, but I still have
Uh,
to get it in high res.
get it in high
But
res.
it's so interesting when we were flipping through the book when you said that these were just a style guide. He didn't really have to put so much effort into the composition of it,
But he
and
did.
yet for each page, and even here, it's still evident. Batman's scape, the cityscape in the back, he's still using it as a framing device. He didn't have to, but
There's no real
some,
need
yep.
to arc that, but he does. And one of the things that I like is you can clearly see that they all came from the same starting point. They're not just all charging
Mhm.
right out at you.
Yeah, you see the kind of lines from Superman, all the washing lines from all of them, kind of
Yeah.
radiating up. Another thing that's kind of cool that he's doing here is this is supposed to be a composition sin
Which one?
when you have when you have tangents. So how Batman's cape is like literally tangential with that
With the city?
with the city. You're not supposed to do that, but here I'm not mad at it.
Because
So I
it
guess
makes one
that's a
shape.
yeah, but I guess that's the thing is you need to know the rules before you break them,
That's true.
which everyone has always said to me. But I guess this kind of making it click. You need to know the rules before you break them. Whereas when I break them, sometimes it's just because of not knowing enough.
No, it's true though. So, for example, let's take acting, right? Let's take acting. The best actors, and I'm thinking, who's a great actor? Meryl Streep, right?
Oh.
If you're watching her, you kind of forget she's acting,
Yeah.
right? And then but before you get to do that, you have to be the type of actor where it's obvious that you're acting. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna break the acting rules
Yep.
like off the bat. You have to know the rules first before
Yep.
you can be like, all right, well, now I can stretch this. Now I can try new things. I
It's
can be a
almost
little
like
bit more visible.
playing with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Subverting tropes like maybe your acting choices that you would do before or like what would be expected now you're subverting them but you're doing it purposefully and it feels like that's what this is. It wasn't because he didn't know any better and he messed up. This one feels like really intentional.
Yeah. It makes a perfect semicircle. And it's interesting, by the way, in 1982 to see what characters make it to the licensing department.
So these were the big hitters.
These are the big hitters at the time. Superman
I
and
love that at least
Supergirl,
Plastic Man is in there. I love
Plastic
that.
Man, the Marvel family, Firestorm. That's interesting. I don't think you see Firestorm now.
But I wonder why they split like Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I wonder if that was
Well,
almost like bookends.
my guess is that, and this is just my guess, the wings are too big to
Yeah.
put on one side.
Maybe it'll get lost, like maybe like skew the composition more to one side. Yeah, you're right. Like it's kind of balancing it out. It's funny now that I say bookends. It kind of feels like that. You know how sometimes they have these like physical bookends that are
Yeah,
like angels or like griffins and stuff like that. So it kind of feels like that,
that's
almost like those like stone granite bookends that you would have in these old libraries.
that's a good analogy. You know my one nitpick with group shots like this? In every group shot like this, the Flash should be in front. Why is he in the back?
Yeah, because he would be the fastest one.
He'd be the first one there.
But you know, I think that would kind of justify it. Is maybe he was slowing down on purpose. Because look at his stance. It's not like if you look at Green Arrow, who's really kind of like moving forward, his momentum is forward. He's almost like he's mid stop. So it's almost like he's trying to slow down on purpose for the group to catch up to him.
Tom, I don't draw as much as you do, but I do draw enough to know what's hard to do. So can you talk to me about, like, let's just take a look at Superman and that bent leg right there, that bent knee.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me about
Foreshortening is just
how? Yeah, can you talk to me
it's
about how difficult foreshortening is?
looking at it now. I don't even know if it's right or wrong, and I wouldn't be the right one to call it out because that's still a sticking point of mine to this day.
It's so hard,
Foreshortening.
right? Wait, can
I
you
think
walk me through
someone said
this?
before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, someone said before. I think that foreshortening. It's almost like sometimes you just have to make it feel right, and sometimes you don't have to like make it right. Right. Sometimes it's what feels right to you. If it looks right, feels right, it must be right. Because I don't know. I honestly, it's supposed to be if it's coming towards you, it's supposed to be bigger.
Right.
But maybe since it's angled kind of downwards, it it makes it smaller. I don't know. This feels like it's above my pay grade.
But here's the thing, right? So here's the thing. Foreshortening, essentially, for the people who don't know, is essentially perspective, but for the human body.
Yeah,
So
it's foreground shortening.
right, so like doing that. Jack Kirby was the one who completely exaggerated that
Mm,
for everyone. But the question becomes, if it's basically perspective for the human body, shouldn't it be as easy to do as perspective? And it's not, right?
I think it's subjective to taste. Like I said, like what looks and feels right. Because even if now that I'm thinking about it, even in 3D, they cheated a lot too. So for example, if you look up behind the scenes, like I think I saw one of Encanto like recently where they showed like I can't remember what the character was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That feels right. The foreshortening feels right, but when they looked at the model from the side, the arms are like stretched out and bent.
Oh,
So it's almost like it's like food. It's like what feels good to the taste, than necessarily like what's in there. Like it's I don't think it's scientific because you can have it right, correct, and still feel kind of off. But I guess if it looks and feels right, then
it's
it.
yeah, and I think especially in comics we have a balance, right? Because I would never say Jack Kirby is anatomically correct, but his work feels super dynamic and super packed. But then you have some artists who are drawing technically correct drawings, but then they look kind of static because they're just being drawn completely,
Yeah.
anatomically correct and stuff. So sometimes it's a trade off. Here's
Yeah,
the
because for
thing.
example,
Yeah.
here I was thinking maybe he did it so just to keep balance in the composition. Because if he made the leg bigger, then it might throw off like his whole leg will be as big as some of the characters. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the silhouette, just based off Superman's silhouette, it's so cool. Like it
Exactly.
makes sense right away. Even if you just like filled it with black, boom, you know what's going on. You know who it is. So maybe if he broke it by having the that leg kind of go out more, it kind of it would be correct, but it might break the flow of the image. Also, but of course, I don't know unless we like test it out. But
Yeah.
just looking
Unless
at it
we.
now, because he has even the swooshing line to show the origin
Mm-hmm.
point that they're all coming from. So maybe it'll kind of start to break that, and that's just one character doing that. Like I mean, one piece of anatomy from one character doing that, rather than multiple characters kind
Right.
of doing that. When you would see the characters having their own thing and kind of like the silhouettes are distinct but still interacting with each other, if Superman was doing that, then it might kind of take away from the whole piece. I wonder if that's the reasoning behind, because he would know his perspective for sure.
If we last little bit about this piece, there's two people here with distinct hair, so Starfire and Firestorm,
Mhm.
and they are spotlighted by the moon.
Yeah,
What does putting the moon in there do for them? Does it unfairly spotlight them, or does it balance out the picture, or what?
I think to balance it out more, because if it was just the white, that would add more contrast, in my opinion. Because it would
Mm,
be like if you turn this into black and white, it would be more with Starfire, most of all, with that like lower valued hers is like a darker kind of red. It would really pop out more. So I think that's almost like to tame it. That's what
okay,
I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but it
that's
feels like to
interesting.
me.
That is an interesting take. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Here's the thing, Tom.
This is fun because like all of my stuff, it's conjecture, but I'm having fun. It's
But
kind of
I think,
exercising my
but it
mind too.
it makes sense. It makes sense to me because for me personally, I am not like I like to draw, but I don't have the mechanics for it. So like studying it and being able to see how something works is the only way I can do it because it doesn't come intuitively to me. So here's the thing, Tom. This next page is also drawn by Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez. So this is an example of his
Wait,
interior work.
this is a thing. Like this is a thing that like they've done crossovers like this in the past.
This is the third DC Marvel crossover
Whoa.
ever. The first two were Superman and Spider-Man. This is the third one, Batman and the Hulk.
I didn't know. I had no idea that they did
All
a
right.
whole crossover.
Right. So
Apparently, that's the third you said.
this is the third this is the third DC Marvel crossover. The first two were Superman and Spider-Man. This is the pairing that they came up with because at the time these were both companies' second most popular characters.
Oh, so Spider-Man was has been the top even during that time.
Yeah, so Spider-Man was the top, and then the Hulk was the most popular. Like apparently in 1966, Rolling Stone ran a poll on like college students asking who their most favorite icons were,
Mhm.
and like it was like Bob Dylan, Malcolm X. I'm not really sure who the three real people were, but like Spider-Man and the Hulk. Um, so, but also at the time, so Batman was the second most popular character because he doesn't become more popular than Superman until 1989. The Hulk
Dude,
had a TV show.
oh yeah, that's right with Lou
Yeah,
Ferrigno.
had the Lou Ferrigno TV show. That's why he's
Oh, so that almost catapulted the comics version of Hulk
yes.
2 into popularity. Oh, all right. I didn't know that. It's so crazy that I'm today years old finding out that they've done three crossovers
They've done
during
more.
this area. I know, but during this era, I had
Uh,
no idea at all.
I will happily lend you the omnibus.
So yeah, but
Uh,
it's interesting that when we were talking about his other work with the DC style guide, that when you think about DC characters because of the merchandising, it's his characters that kind of come to mind. And yet when I'm looking at his Hulk, it's not exactly what I would think of when I think of Hulk.
what do you
That's kind
think
of
of?
crazy how there's that disparity.
What
But
do you
now
think
that you
of when you think of the
say,
Hulk?
I don't know, he feels like more hulking to me, and more like caveman, in like the in the old like Marvel depictions of him. And here
Yeah,
he just, I guess he looks more like the Lou
he
Ferrigno
looks more like Lou
character here.
Ferrigno. Yeah,
He
that's
looks like a
exactly.
bodybuilder than like a hulking abomination, like a hulking mass.
That's exactly it. I'll tell you what I love about this page, and then we can analyze it. Um, So whenever I describe this page to anyone, so I actually
Mm.
described this to JV, and when I get to the point where okay, Batman is backed into a corner, he throws a gas pellet, Hulk holds his breath, Batman kicks him in the stomach, and then Hulk has to breathe in the gas pellet. Every time I describe this page, the person I'm talking to laughs because they're like, Batman can't
How would
kick the
Batman?
Hulk,
Yeah. How
right?
would Batman like affect him? It would be like in the new Superman trailer where like someone throws a can at Superman and
Exactly.
kind of
Like,
reacts. Like you wouldn't
uh,
think Batman would be able to.
but then what I say is, okay, sure, but take a look at the kick. And then I show them the kick,
Well,
and they're like, oh, okay, fine, I buy it.
it
Because
looks
it's
really
well
cool though.
drawn.
Yeah, and
You get,
I love how it kind of breaks the panel. I like that his kick breaks the panel.
yes. So let's take a look at that from panel
Dude,
one onwards.
but even that, look at how cool that framing is.
Like Batman is
Yeah,
encased
framed. Yeah,
in the Hulk's massive arms.
which like if you think about it, would it really make sense? Because if you were gonna hit, unless you were middle of it, yeah, never mind. If you were in the middle of it, yeah, you would have that post. It feels like he's throwing a strike, and if it was caught mid strike, there would be some motion blur, and yet
Uh-huh.
it's everything is so crisp and clean. So really, I think this was just he just wanted to use Hulk as a framing device, which says I'm not mad at. Like I said, like if you're using it intentionally, you can kind of break those rules. It's meant to be a striking image, and it is. As soon as you look at it, it looks cool. I like the idea of him being encased in the Hulk's thing. It's almost like it's really domineering, showing like Hulk's like how dangerous he is.
You know what I like a lot about it is because I think I think it's a bit of a cheat, but it's a smart cheat because the Hulk
Mm-hmm.
is so big. The Hulk is so big, and that panel is so. There's very small panels on the page. So how do you emphasize the Hulk size? You put Batman inside him.
Yeah, yeah. That's why, like, yeah, you're right. That's why it's like really is an intentional thing. It's him like doing this on purpose. That's a cool thing about this artist. Like he does. It seems like he does it a lot, but he does it on purpose. It doesn't feel accidental.
He's
Like
smart.
the really, yeah. He really thinks about them. He thinks through them.
Let's
Here
take
though, is that like a collar on Batman on the
which
second
one.
panel?
The
There's
second
like
panel.
something that's
No, I think that's supposed to be his hand, like his finger after he throws the
oh like
bomb.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, okay. And this right here is just the light.
yeah.
His neck catching his cowl catching the light. All right, right. I get it.
Nice contrast of colors too, because it's blue and green, right?
Mm,
Uh, so let's take a look at that second row over there. So traditionally in American comics, you would read left to right, and then you would read row by row. But the interesting
mm.
thing about it is the end of the second row is the
Yeah,
start
it's
of
that.
the third row.
Yep. Yeah, that's wild. It's almost like he's just really snaking you through the pages. I mean
Your
the panels.
yeah, your eye would go the way it would normally go in
Mm.
any grid comic.
But it's cool how the last panel is
Mm-hmm.
the same as the end of the middle row, the third
Yeah,
panel of the middle row. It's just like an insert shot of that. So cinematically, it's almost like they just do a cut to cut. It almost feels like a movie. To think
yeah,
that this was like an older comic book, but it feels, for example, like you would think like the Brian Hitches are the ones that like made the whole cinematic that because of the aspect ratio kind of a thing, but really like you see that it's been done before. The people
exactly.
treating the medium like cinema, almost like a movie. Like this, you have the Hulk, then you cut to Batman here, and what he did to get that reaction, and then you double up on his reaction, almost like when you look at a Jackie Chan movie and they do the punch twice to sell the
Yeah,
effect.
like you don't
It
actually
makes
have
no,
to punch twice.
it makes no sense because it's the same punch and they show it twice, but in your mind, it makes the hit even harder. And here, it makes Batman's hit to him even harder by even cutting to the same exact shot. And now he's opening his mouth. Like it's the if here it was he was just winded. Here now he's showing him like that actually like did an impact.
Yeah, you can actually trace the Hulk's face across those three
Yep.
images. Um, I will
Wow, this
tell
is
you
cool.
as a bit of a spoiler, this is the first fight in that story. The Hulk does win the second one.
Maybe Batman didn't have a plan since it's
No,
from a different universe.
the Hulk brings the building down on top of both of them,
Oh,
knowing full well that the Hulk is going to walk out of that
this is right.
first.
Yeah.
Right. The villains are the Joker and the Shaper of Worlds. So the Shaper of Worlds is a little bit more obscure, but he's
You
a very
you
powerful
have
character.
this,
Yeah, I have it.
dude. I'm gonna have to. Man, I'm gonna have to like take a
You,
peek.
you know what? You know what? It works out. JV has this too. So,
Eh.
so we can show
Oh,
it
later.
later.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see it
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
Man, what? Look at that anatomy of Batman though. That's just beautiful.
Isn't
The
it
last.
great?
Ooh.
Here's the thing, Tom. So like let's talk about Batman for a bit, right?
Mhm.
So this looks realistic, it looks believable and all of that. Batman's costume, I think, as we've seen in the movies, is not a believable costume, right? Because
What do you mean?
like his ears are too big, which is which in real life is going to hinder you, right?
Mhm.
Or like if the cape is too big.
Yeah.
You cannot like a human being cannot walk around with a cape that big.
In fact, they cheated even with the. I don't know how far it's gone back, but even if you look at the Christian Bale Batman, they have
Mm.
different capes for different scenes.
They have different capes for
So
different sizes, no, for
yeah,
different.
different scenes. So if they want to show him like imposing with like the draping like from far above, like it's like really long. And if they want it like for fighting, I think it's a shorter cape. And later on with the Ben Affleck stuff, they just removed the cape entirely. They just added
In
in
post.
CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right, it's not realistic. It'll really like hinder you. You'll get caught in it, especially if you're doing all kinds of dynamic stuff.
Even if you look at model sheets of the Batman animated series,
Mm.
um, then you will see like different drawings of the cape, and they're all like different lengths. And it actually is a note in the model
Oh,
sheet that says like cheat
really?
the
Even the
cape.
Bruce Timm stuff had that? I didn't know.
Yeah, like it's even a note. It's like cheat the cape for effect. So like if he's just standing up, the cape drapes
Yeah,
like so that it's on the floor. But if he's like running, the cape is shorter.
and this it's cool that like the DCAU is still has been setting the trend
It's
all along for.
gold standard, brother. Um,
Because I thought that was a movie trivia, but apparently no. It's a
well, I
an animated universe
to
thing.
your point, I think the comics do it too.
Oh
Like
wow, yeah, yeah, all
I
right,
haven't actually looked, but I mean they probably do because
yeah, probably.
even if you look at panel two and the panel where he kicks the Hulk, those capes look like they're of different lengths,
Hmm.
right? So even then they're already changing it. Ah,
Yeah, Batman's cape is its own character.
it's great. It's great. And I think what we're learning here as we're talking is that there are a lot of rules when it comes to drawing, but when it comes to storytelling, it's all about the illusion, and we have to
Mhm.
maintain the illusion.
And it's cool how like even earlier I was like referencing different types of art. Like art is really just like an umbrella. All of it is the same. Like I said, when I said food, as long as it tastes right, then it's good. There was a musician friend, like one of my acting coaches, Jan Yuzon. He was a he's a musician as well. He was in a band, and when I was asking him about music, he said what they did. You can have music theory, but as long as it sounds right, then
Right.
that's it. That's right. So I guess here, if it's getting the effect that you
What
want
you want,
done,
yeah.
like for example, like the Bruce Timm thing in the model sheet, a cape realistically wouldn't like grow or shorten
Mm-hmm.
like when you're walking around. It's one physical thing unless it's got that kind of property, a magical property. But Batman isn't a magical character. But really, what they're doing is the effect.
Yeah.
And as
If
long
you
as you're intentional with it,
and if you do it properly, nobody's even gonna
mhm.
notice.
Yep,
Like I
nope.
didn't
Because
know it
all you
until
feel is the effect.
right. I didn't know it until I saw the model sheet. until I was like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
cool.
I never realized they cheated that.
Yeah, I had
Okay,
no idea. I had no idea, like at all. It feels like it's the same consistent thing, but I guess that's how that means it's precisely working. You just get the
exactly.
effect that they're trying to sell. That's cool.
That's what it's all about. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Oh,
We I tried finding the best Bruno Redondo image, and
how?
The best Bruno Redondo image is an entire issue that is one long shot. So I'm not
Do,
going to do that.
do, do they know what you did with that whole issue?
I think I
Do they
told
know what
him.
you've done?
I think I told him. It was on my Instagram for a while, and I
Uh,
tagged him. I think maybe I couldn't
It's
possibly have
amazing.
been the only one to do that.
But it was amazing. Like seeing it physically laid out. Like that way you showed it to me, I was like, whoa. But your audience knows, right? That you taped it all together,
I taped I
each
bought
page.
3 copies of that issue. I read one, and then I took 2 of them apart to put them all together. And it is so long that if I put them up on my wall over here in the back, it would only be like a third.
It's so crazy though that you picked this image right after the last one. Because I was saying, who did I reference that did like cinematic type of paneling? I forget. I
Hitch,
don't know.
Brian
Brian
Hitch.
Hitch, but Bruno Redondo is also a master of that, treating comic panels and comic book pages as cinema. Because even here, it's just it's it's panels, right? Like you see these little squares. They'll be
Yeah,
traditional panels, but really, it's like it almost like feels like building windows, and at the same time, it's like movie frames, and at the same time, it's like it's not. It gives the illusion of movie frames, but you're not looking at it like this, like each frame. You're viewing it as a whole. The doves like give you John Woo vibes. You almost feel it, and you're traversing through time
through time and
in
through
this
space. Yeah,
one time and space. It's just a mind blowing thing. But in your mind, it's like it doesn't feel like traditional film or cinema. But in my mind, it stitches it together as if it is.
right.
Like I look at this and I see a whole montage, like a whole like back sequence, like a flashback, like a whole flashback happening. It's so crazy. I think you can only do this type of thing in this medium.
You you played Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
I have, I have.
You know that opening scene where she's a child and she's training, and it's a montage of her training,
Yeah,
and then she lands on the ground and
hmm
she rolls, and now she's adult Aloy.
yeah. There's almost a bit of that too in one of the Batman games. I think the one that came later on, like the Origin, Batman Origins. I think I
Okay.
can't remember which one it was when they had the ad showing like Bruce Wayne from childhood up until he became Batman. They also did like a similar type of
Yeah.
feel. It feels like this. Yeah, it almost like feels like cuts. She like each like you're meant to zoom into each panel and have that be its own like movie playing out. And then the second him as Robin, him as the Flying Graysons, him as Robin, him as vintage Nightwing from the 70s. Then
Vintage Nightwing with a disco collar.
yeah.
Speaking of things that haven't aged well.
But it's cool how he's no, I just saw this now. He's bound, and the other two were like there were identities that were given to him. The Flying Grayson is from his family, then Robin given to him by Bruce, and then he's breaking out of that as Nightwing, as himself. That's kind of cool. How he's coming into the foreground, into his own.
Dude, I never even thought of that. I was just taking a I was just looking at him jumping out of the panels
Yeah, physically.
as
But I know it just jumped at me right now. It's like, oh, I wonder if that
yeah.
was also a thing that he did, because that's kind of cool too. How it's almost him coming into his own,
I was
showing
looking
his
at it.
journey.
I was looking at it, and I was just like, "Oh, that's to emphasize movement. That's pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
and
It's showing
it is
perspective."
too, and
But
it's doing exactly that too. That's why it's cool. It's like, man, it's
it
telling a story.
never occurred to me the connection that you just made. That Nightwing is when
Wow,
he's free. That's amazing.
wow, this is a beautiful freaking page. That's just like storytelling. It's ah,
Eh, it's the
oh
best.
my goodness,
It's the
my
best.
goodness.
This is the best Nightwing run I've ever seen. I'll tell you a story, right? Maybe 15 years ago, I wrote a small article on my old website, and I basically in the article I said that I basically said Nightwing deserves better,
Mhm.
right? I basically said Nightwing deserves better, and then it got a lot of flack. I tried being really nice about it, but like it got a lot of flack because they were like, "How dare you say that Nightwing the series never worked? It's a consistent seller in the top 100. It's always selling X amount of copies. It's consistently like number 60 or whatever." And my whole point is that Dick Grayson deserves higher than number 60 because this character has been around since 1940, and
Not even that, but like how stable and solid he is as a character morally with everything
exactly.
he's gone through. But like I think he's like Bruce's like greatest work.
He's he's Bruce without the baggage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a really cool character.
And so when this series started coming out and it was constantly like critically acclaimed on the top and everything, I was like, well, I feel vindicated.
Yeah.
I feel vindicated. This is exactly
Oh,
the Nightwing series I wanted.
I can't stop looking at this page. I wonder, what was going through his mind when he made this? Because even just the choice of like doing those small panels,
And it
there's
did
no. If you look at it, there's like no purpose for it than just to set a cadence, almost going this way. But really, it's not like showing like why put a panel into just that one part of the building. It's not telling in a story, but I think he's using it as a almost like lulling you into setting a rhythm, setting a cadence, lulling you into it's a it feels like a device to get you into that.
let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Without the panels, if it was just one big page, it would still look good.
Mhm.
But with the
But here it has
panels,
dimensionality to it.
yes. And look at that. That's so good. So good.
Sheesh.
Even the doves, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm like saying. It feels like John Woo,
Uh,
like a John Woo movie.
that's so great. Um, all right. Are you ready to move on to the next one?
Game.
All right. We start. So
Oh,
this is from a Filipino artist
Godhark.
named Sean Manaloto, and the
Hmm.
title is called Godhark. Uh,
What a talented guy this is.
yeah, and the
This
reason
one.
that I chose this page, well, I didn't choose the page. I had him choose the page. But the reason I chose to spotlight Godhark is because Tom, apparently you were a very big influence on young Sean.
I don't know about that. I think I've just been a fan. I've just been a fan of his for a while now.
According to Sean, you are one of the reasons that he pursued making a print comic. He was thinking of just putting it up on Webtoons or something.
But I think that would have happened one way or another, because that's what I said. As young as he was, I think he was 16 when I
Yeah,
met him, seeing his work from his mom who I'd worked with. I was blown away. I was like, damn, you're this young and you're this good. And it's a frustration of mine to make a comic book, to tell stories. And you have this kid already doing it. I was just amazed. I was like, man, you can't have this just be limited to the format you want to do. That. It would still work in webtoons, but like I thought it needed to
it
be on the
needed
page too in all its glory.
it needed to be
Yeah,
tactile.
yeah,
Tom,
because
I know you haven't read Godhark, so I'm not gonna ask you
I
to.
have it here. Yeah,
Yeah,
I borrowed it from you, but I have it. I've yet to go through it.
I'm not gonna ask you to comment on what you think is going on in the page or whatever, but I will tell you that these are the three protagonists of Godhark.
Mhm.
So can you tell me visually what stands out to you?
Just how beautifully rendered it is. And I like that even the characters in the back, he's almost using it not almost, he is using it as a framing device. And then the contrast with their swords too is really cool. Like adds a really cool dynamic to it.
Yeah, they all have different weapons.
Yeah.
Um, do you think of the coloring?
Wow, it's beautiful. I like it. It's really pleasing. Yeah, so like a monogamous type of color scheme where
Uh-huh.
it's all like sitting in just one arc of the color wheel. I think analogous. Analogous is how
Okay.
they would say it. An analogous color scheme. So you have like the oranges to the reds to the purples that all sit
Hmm.
in one, and it's just makes it very very cohesive. And I guess it makes sense since they're all like it's highlighting, showcasing the protagonist. So it's
Yes.
showing like a unity, unison, but still different enough because they're all like sitting in kind of different sides. You have the smaller character that's like more earth colors, like red, like brownish and stuff like that, but it's still in that same color wheel. Then you have the purple, pinks, and then
Yep.
this one is just stark red. And yet they all live in the same family, but they're still very distinct.
That's what I was
So
gonna
I like,
say. Like,
yeah, that I like that he used saturation, he used values to differentiate the characters enough, but still have them like
yep.
feel cohesive.
Um, that's what I was gonna say. Like the values, the colors that he chose are all very close to each other, and yet it does not feel like a mess.
How unfair is it that like man, like this guy's so young and has like this much command, this much command of his craft. That's cool. This is my jealous face. Right? No, but dude, man,
Um,
I'm so happy that he's like really like gone for it and pursued it, and this is like so cool to see. I really I can't wait to do a deep dive of the actual book. If just one page, just like already blowing my mind.
for those of you who are interested in looking at Godhark, just looking at this page, I do have an interview with Sean. I'll link to it
Yep.
down below. But also, it is one of the most metal comics I've ever read.
Yeah.
So if you're into that stuff, go read Godhark. If you don't live in the Philippines, come talk to me. I will find a way to get you Godhark.
It's so cool to do it. I'll point out one thing. It's so cool that it's like such a static shot. It's like a hero pose type of shot in
Mm.
the first panel. And yet you have movement in the weapons already, and it kind of sets the tone because it almost looks like the weapon is dancing around. Because even in the last panel, when it's not necessarily the swords, it feels like a continuation of that motif.
It yeah, it
Because
carries your idea.
it's the striking, the most striking, like most contrast in saturation and in value. So it really stands out. It almost like it's like a dance, like you know those Boracay
Yeah,
fire dancers. Like it's really like leading your eye through the whole piece.
those guys are
It's
so
really cool.
cool. Those guys are so cool. And again, I will say, Tom has not read Godhark, but he knew, like, this is how distinct Sean's art is. He knew, just looking at this, that this was Godhark.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next one, Tom. We're going to a
It's because
friend of ours.
a lot of
Okay.
those characters that he's done, like
Yeah.
I've seen him on his on Instagram on his page even before the book was a thing. So it's so cool that it's not just like a whim. Like these are lived characters that he's had in his mind and his imagination for a long time. And it's cool to see them all realized
Yes.
on a page.
Going to the next one, Tom. We're going to a friend of ours. This
Oh
is
yeah,
this is from a book
JV.
called Third World Power, written by our friend J.V. Tanjuatco and drawn by Jim Jimenez. Um, what Third World Power is basically one street kid from the
Mhm.
Philippines gets superpowers and is the only one in the world with superpowers.
Like a wish fulfillment type of comic book. I enjoyed it. It was like a really fun read.
There,
It's almost like that thing within all of us, like magka-power lang ako. No, but it's cool though. Like even his journey too. Like imagine like a. It, it's so weird. I don't know if I should be making this analogy since the character is like in poverty, but it's almost like when like Dios like his circumstances are different. It's almost like a Justin Bieber type of character when like so much like fame and power is like thrust upon you at a young age. Like what do you do with it?
what do you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like you get power hungry, then like later on, like you kind of realize what you have, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's cool that the art that you go through.
yeah. Because like, what do you know as a kid? right?
Yep.
Like this is completely new for you. You get
Yep.
something new. You get a new toy. You're gonna play with it.
And become the right hand of God, like the powers of that. Like it's so.
Interestingly, this is another one of those cases where all of the colors on this page are from the same family, but it
Yeah.
doesn't look messy.
No, not at all. This
What?
is cool. I like that. Like even that, it's the power lines again. Like the highest contrast, it's what's leading the eyes again. They use his
Yeah,
powers. Kind of like same with like Sean's work on the previous page. I like it. I like it when it's used because you know it's purposeful. It's meant for us to kind of follow the story. Like it ties it all together. Like almost like in music, how they have motifs.
yeah.
It's this like the power too is a motif from the just the first glow to the slow burn to like to now uncontrollable power. And you see on the opposite side, it's almost like him being pitted against the people.
That's what it looks
Not
like,
just
right?
not just the story, but visually, it's like two pillars. And here it's all him, like his reaction to what's 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 going on, and then the final panel is him going bleeding onto that side. Now him like it's almost like him trying to restrain, and then him being able to affect that other side. Now he's bleeding onto that side of the page.
Side of the page. Yeah, I was gonna bring up the fact that it is two pillars, so you could theoretically, if you wanted to, read pillar one first and then pillar two
Mm-hmm.
second.
And I still have it make sense.
And it would still make sense. But of course, like
And
you are
even the text when you read it, he can feel it about to explode, and that's what it literally feels like a ticking time bomb.
exactly.
And then in the end, he
Exactly.
explodes all over the page. That's cool.
Again, everyone, that is third world power. And again, if you do not live in the Philippines, talk to me. We will find a way to get it to you if you
Yep.
are interested.
Man,
in
I
this
still need to
book.
make a fan art of this. I've been wanting to. I need to make time for it.
So we started with a group shot, drawn by Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez, and our second thing that we showed was a DC Marvel crossover. So I'm going to show you a group shot from the greatest DC Marvel crossover
Whoa.
that's ever been
Sheesh.
published. This is from JLA Avengers that came out in 2004. And it stars every single member
Wow.
of the Justice League and the Avengers to that point. It is drawn by my favorite artist of all time, George Perez, who sadly passed away 3 years ago. But so this is the issue. This is the cover to the third issue, where literally everyone shows up. And I'm not gonna. It would be insane, Tom, for us.
Imagine if like the Avengers movies, the MCU had something like this
Exactly.
in Endgame. If we could afford something like this, it's cool too that he didn't just like, all right, this side DC, this side Marvel. It's all of them everywhere.
And it would be insane, Tom, if we went to it character by character. So I'm not going to ask you to do that. But
Yes, please. Where do you start?
but what jumps out at you from this page? Not
Oh
literally.
shit, is that Lobo right there?
Lobo is right there. If you'll notice, so
But it's cool how like the Holy Trinity is still there. They're still very distinctive. Like the
yeah, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman
Superman,
are there.
Flash 2 stands out. Martian Manhunter.
All of the
I mean,
flashes
Thor.
are there in the front. Right.
Yep.
This is what I was saying. The speedster should always be in front.
Yep. That's cool that they are. Yeah. Yeah. Even Pietro is there too.
Pietro is there.
With the flashes.
The Thor is right there. Captain America's on just a little bit to the lower right of Superman. So all of the big guns are out in front, actually.
This is a cool image.
Oh, and
So much going on too.
The image I'm showing you is pretty small because this is such a big image.
Wait, what is that? Is that Doctor Fate? Is that two Doctor Fates?
That is two Doctor Fates. So like every
and they're
variant,
opening up a portal.
Yes, every variant of all the characters are here. So like if there were two or three green, like every Green Lantern that's ever been a member of the Justice League is here. And if you take a look at the middle bottom.
Yeah, like even Guy Gardner is there. You can still see him in the back,
Yes.
tiny speck, but like he's still distinct. Yeah, that's crazy how you still know just from the, I guess, from the haircut. Like
If
he's still, you just see half of him, but
if you
you know it's him.
if you look at the bottom middle behind Beast, the colors are kind of like melding it together, but those are
Mm,
Green Arrow,
yeah,
Hawkeye, and
Yondu,
Yondu.
Hawkeye. Yeah,
So
that's
all
cool.
all the
Oh yeah,
archers.
wait. So Hawkeye is sandwiched by two green arrows, but they're both Oliver Queen or a
No,
different
the one on the left is Connor Hawk, Oliver Queen's son.
Connor Hawk. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So
That's cool that they almost used the archers as like a composition, kind of like how you said, like in the first image that you showed me, how they're all bursting from the same origin.
yeah,
Here, they're almost like doing that thing where it's forcing you to kind of look like they're all in the middle. Yeah, forcing you to
it's
like
one
if you
point
just look at one,
perspective.
you can trace it. Yep.
It's one point
Yeah,
perspective without the
that, that,
backgrounds.
that that's what Sir Armand told me. That's why like perspective is a really essential thing when you compose something because your eye goes straight to the vanishing point. Even if it's being covered by something, your eye, us as humans, we've been trained since for forever, like in our biology, like to look at horizons, like seeing vanishing points. So we know it. It's innate in us. So whether it's covered or not, like our brains like go there. So we automatically go towards them. The vanishing point is literally behind them. So that's
Uh,
cool that you just look one and you pick one archer and then you can trace you can trace it to see all the different characters.
so are you saying, Tom, by picking a vanishing point, like from an artist's point of view, and um, obviously we won't know because we cannot speak to the artist here in
Mm.
this case, but in your point of view, does picking a vanishing point make drawing this easier?
I don't think easier, but it's also a tool because that's what for example going back to Armand Serrano again during his when he showed us during the visual development for 2G CGMA his class his mentorship
Mhm.
program he would show us pieces that he did for example in Zootopia and there will be one piece there that he told us our eyes go directly to the vanishing point. So to use it as a story framing device, he blocked it with something that he knew would lead to the characters. Because you could have,
Uh,
because you would think contrast would be it, would be like
right.
where your eye goes to, but there's like different tiers. So for example, he had his character behind like contrast to show like that alienation from this like supposedly inviting place. So his character was there, but instead of going there, your eye goes to like we're very pattern recognition, a pattern
Mhm.
seeking, and we look at eyes. Like us as humans, we look at eyes. So even though there was a small eye, our eyes go there right away. So what he did was he did it in a tier system. He knew the eye would go to the vanishing point, so he kind of put an object there in the vanishing point that kind of leads. So leads to the
Okay.
eye with the second most grabbing thing, and then boom, that eye leads down to that contrast, that isolation. And he was telling a story with that, meaning this is the character that's judging this character, making him feel isolated. So it's a tool. It's also a tool to tell stories.
So in this particular page, when you say the eye goes straight to the vanishing point is it's the
Yeah,
archers,
right
right?
there. Yeah, right behind them.
Yeah, it's right where Huntress is.
Yeah, but it's cool that like when you look at their like they're all pointing. They're not just pointing at one thing. They could have all been pointing to the left, all been pointing to the right. No, but they're all pointing to where the like you know when you have the vanishing point and you have
Mm,
the lines kind of leading out, the leading
yeah.
lines like it's almost that where it's forcing you to look because if you look at it, even Plastic Man's
Dude,
hand
that's another
head is also following the same trend,
that
all of it radiating out.
that's actually another thing like about this cover. Plastic Man is all over this cover.
Yep, that's true. And the other side too, you see his body, he's like snaking through it.
It's,
It's nice
uh,
that he's using all of this as a device. I think that's kind of like how you rein in the chaos. It's like controlled chaos because when you have this much characters and they're all different sizes, like because there's so many of them, how do you tame it? And I guess that's like he's using perspective as a device. He's using leading lines with like he's almost using Plastic Man as a human like a corral to kind of rein in everything that's happening. And it's cool.
Uh,
Even the Lantern Corps, like their powers, like are used as a device too to kind of control where you're like giving you pockets. I like that these little the circles, like the willpower of the Lantern Corps, Doctor Fate with his portal. It's giving you pockets to also kind of look. It's almost like panels,
yeah.
like tiny panels. That's kind of like, oh, that's cool. Look at over here. I don't know which Green Lantern this is.
Which
The
one are you looking at?
Where Lobo and
Where
all of them
Lobo
are
is. Oh, that's Kyle Rayner.
Kyle Rayner. Okay.
Yeah, that one's Kyle Rayner. Guy
Yeah, he
Gardner's the one
wasn't
on
one
the
of my
upper right.
favorites. Yeah, I know. Guy Gardner, you know right away just from the bowl cut. That's why it's cool that even though he's like so tiny, you know it's him.
Wait, Kyle Rayner's not one of your favorites?
Yeah, I don't know why. I
How is
guess
that? How is
just
the artist
just
not one of your favorites?
I think it's
I
just
think
like
he is.
when you in pop culture, it's usually Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Uh, actually, Hal Jordan is the biggest. Shoot, what can't I? What's the other one? I can't remember his
Guy
name.
Gardner, John Stewart.
Guy John Stewart. There you go.
Yeah.
John Stewart. I guess because of the animated
The cartoon, yeah.
Justice League shows. Yeah, yeah. But Kyle Rayner, I've never really read
Dude,
much
uh,
much stories with him in it.
there's a new Green Lantern out. Her name is Joe Mullane.
Mm.
So I'm just gonna use this to plug it. She is now my favorite Green Lantern because what happened is they created a story where it takes place in a very, 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 very far sector. The story is called Far Sector. So she
Oh,
cannot
okay.
access Oa and she cannot access the battery. So what they
So
did
how does she
was
have like her lantern powers?
she's given a ring that is weaker than everyone else's. And the reason it's weaker than
Mhm.
everyone else's is because it's constantly charging. So like, it's running out and out and out and out.
Mhm.
And then if she's not using it, then it's starting to recharge. So as a result, she's never at 100%.
So it's like a solar panel.
So it's like a solar panel in a ring,
Yeah.
but she cannot access the rest of the core. I was like, oh my god, this would make a great movie. This would make a great movie because
That's a
I
standalone too, huh? It'd be like self-contained.
yeah, because that's the problem with the other lanterns is they're so like their stories are so dependent
Yep.
on everyone on every other
On the
lantern.
core, yep. Like even
Uh
their villains are like all corporate incorporated too.
yeah.
Like the Sinestro Corps, like all their stuff are always like it's like big forces against each other.
Yeah,
The
but
Far
because
Sector, yeah,
because
it would
Joe
be cool
takes
to read
place
that.
in a far sector, it's just she it does whatever. She can do whatever she wants. Although I
But wait,
think
what's
now they brought her.
Kyle Rayner's story? He's an artist, like a
Yeah. So this was the 90s, man. So like
see,
what
admittedly,
happened
I don't
was
even know much about him. I've just heard his name before, and I just
he's uh so he's a little bit of an outlier because what happened was they had Hal Jordan turn bad for a while. It
mm,
eventually is revealed that he was possessed by a yellow fear demon. um, but when he turned bad, like he destroyed the core, he destroyed Oa and all of that, and there was one ring left, and the last guardian literally gave it to the first person he saw on Earth. And
which was
Kyle,
him.
which was Kyle, and he's a starving artist, and he draws ads and stuff. But I think the short pitch for him is basically he's if Spider-Man was a Green Lantern. He struggles to make rent,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
Dude,
Have
I
you
might actually look up
do you know the trope about women in refrigerators?
I don't
Like fridging? You ever heard the term fridging? Okay. So
is it like in horror movies, like slasher movies or something or
no, fridging is a term that was created because it's basically if you kill a female character for the sole reason of advancing the plot of the guy
Mhm.
character, and for no other reason, then that's called fridging. So that's named because in Kyle Rayner's first few appearances,
Mm.
a villain kills his girlfriend and stuffs her in the fridge. So they named
So
a
that
trope after
started
that.
that started trope.
Yeah, they started a trope after that.
It's like a similar local showbiz trope where if a network gets you but doesn't do anything with you, it's called frozen delight. Kind of ties to it a bit of a frozen analogy, refrigeration analogy.
Jesus.
But wait, this story in the back, in the very back, is that like from the Donald Blake one,
There
the one where like the staff turns into the one where he was a doctor?
there are
Which store
three
is this? The
Thors
one with the
here.
jacket. Yeah, there's one with the
Oh, the
jacket
one
up
with
at
the
the top.
jacket. That's Thunderstrike. So, um, at some point in the 90s, Thor lost his hammer, or like Thor
Hmm?
disappeared, and an Earth guy named Eric Masterson was given the hammer, and he was found worthy.
Is that when he had a like a cane that you would
Well, he had a
strike, or is that a
cane,
different one?
but Donald Blake also had a cane.
Oh,
So,
I might be like mixing it.
dude, the story of Donald Blake is crazy because
This is a cool looking Thor though.
yeah, the one with the jacket. So
Yeah.
his name is Thunderstrike. Actually, if you go to the upper right, the Thor on the upper right is also Thunderstrike when he was Thor.
So wait, okay. So you said all the variants are here, so it could be the same character,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
they're all
yeah.
here too. Man, everything is here.
If
Yeah,
if
so that's why there are also multiple Iron Man.
one of them is War Machine.
Yeah, but the one here, it still has the Tony Stark, like the red and yellow.
Oh yeah, no, that's Tony. So the I think the rule here is um a character can show up more than once if the code name is different. So for example, the two Thor Eric Masterson and Thunderstrike are the same guy, but their code names are different, right? One is Thor and
And
one is
Moon Knight,
Thunderstrike.
U.S. Agent. That's so crazy. I wonder if like they gave him a list of characters to include, or if they just left it up to him. This is
It's
wild. Like, where do you even begin
it's
to like start?
every Justice Leaguer and Avenger to that point, even
Like, where do
honorary
you
ones.
begin? Yeah, where do you begin even to
Actually, that's a good reverse engineering exercise, Tom. Where do you think he began?
like? You would think you would begin with the big hitters.
Yeah, because looking at it, I kind of feel like he started from Batman.
Yeah, like the big hitters. Like you see them right away. They're almost arranged in a rainbow
Yes.
around that vanishing point. Because the archers are just used as a medium, and it's cool that he even used like the speedsters too to just kind of carry that
Move
motif.
it
Like they're
forward.
all like almost, yeah. Because with as much as there is, like your eyes still don't get lost with who the main ones are. Like they still pop with as much characters are there are here.
You know what I find funny about this image though is
Mm.
and I it makes me wonder if this was like a corporate thing. Well, two things. I wonder if Batman's cape taking up so much space is a DC instruction. But also the other thing is at the time, so this was 2004, Spider-Man was only ever a reserve Avenger. He wasn't really a full-time Avenger yet. So the fact that he has so much space on this, I wonder if
Yeah,
Marvel is like, no, you got to spotlight Spider-Man somehow.
non-negotiables. Yeah, they're non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable. He's in like 3 panels in this story. He's barely in this, but
But it's
he's
cool though if you see Batman too. Like no one is like the only ones overtaking him are the smaller characters, like the Ant Mans and Wasps. Like an Ant Man right here is just like silhouetted against him, almost uses contrast, but really he's his own.
he's got his own space.
Yeah,
He's got his own space right there.
that's big real estate.
And also like it helps that he's one of the few guys who's mostly in a black costume
Hmm.
because there isn't
But it's cool that
actually a lot of black there.
the cape motifs. Because if you look at Thor and Superman, their capes kind of go backwards over them,
Yeah.
and they're more spread apart. Even Shazam and Vision, yeah, they all have that thing. But if you look at Batman, it's spread apart, and then you have Hawkman. Who's that?
Which
The
one?
one under Hawkman,
The one under Hawkman, Quasar.
Quasar.
Quasar, yeah, he's a Marvel
Yeah, I've never really.
character who he has these bands. They're basically like Green Lantern rings, except the twist is that he's a defeatist and believes he will always lose. It's
Mm.
funny.
But it's cool that like in the line they're the only ones that have that kind of open cape motif. It almost shows like a trick of the eye for Batman's trajectory
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
That could have been just coincidental, but I like it's that's cool how it's giving that kind of effect.
So do you think he started from Batman or the Archers?
No, I think the archers were a second tier thing
Okay.
because that's where the vanishing point would be. Like he would know already because like all the characters that are springing out are coming from that origin point. So I think it's for him to kind of use as a device to lead to that almost like a secondary composition thing. But I think he started with the arching characters like Batman, Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Spider Man, all of them.
Do you think, Tom, that there is do you think there's some thought being given here as to what colors they have? Because I do notice that a lot of the ones in red are not like clumped together, like, or the ones in blue, they're not just like clumped together.
Yeah, because Red would be grabbing. It's cool because like the whole image is moving. That's why I like that he kind of dotted them around, so your eyes kind of go everywhere. And he's using a bunch of different things, like is it to kind of rein in this much chaos in all of these characters. So I think that the color placements definitely is one of that because he could have lumped all of the characters with the same colors together, but then it'll just be islands now. Whereas here it's like, oh, okay, here you start if Shazam's color scheme grabs at you the red, then you radiate from there. Oh, Superman. Oh, Wanda's radiates from there. Oh, the Flash here, the other Flash here. Oh, Jay Garrick over here.
Yeah,
It kind of then.
you can't put Shazam and the Flashes together.
Mhm.
It's too
Because
much.
then your eye might just get stuck in one area. So I like that. Like you start going one place, then you see like the Green Lantern like powers kind of from that kind of
Yeah.
like start leading you someplace else. And if you get lost, then you have somehow Plastic Man's like appended.
just just helping you get around.
Yeah,
You
in football you have like your free safety, like in your defense in football, in American football you have like your linemen, your linebackers, and then in the back you have your free safety. So just in case someone manages to get through the linebackers, you have your free safety to kind of be your last line of defense. I think that's Plastic Man here. He's like the last line of defense. He's literally stretching everywhere to just kind of rein everything in. If the other devices that he set up kind of doesn't do it.
yeah. Uh dude, I need to lend you this
Because
comic.
Even Adam is like standing on his hand. I just noticed that now, dude. It's crazy.
Dude, I need to lend you this comic. This is so
Yeah,
cool.
it's a
Um
whole comic. This isn't even just a one shot. Like a this just feels like a splash page, like a poster.
it's four
So it's
issues.
crazy that this is for a story.
It's four issues and it traverses time and space. So like all the dead characters at some point come back
That's
to.
wild.
It's crazy. It's such a good comic. It's one of my favorites.
That's wild. That's awesome.
You are right though, because you mentioned Shazam and Wanda, and they kind of balance the red out on
Hmm.
the two sides here.
And another thing, dude, like how did they get Sue Storm to still kind of not get lost in the noise? You could still kind of tell it's her, even though she's see through.
Yeah, that I mean that's on the tech guys, I would suppose.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like she's still there. Like you would think, like an invisible character would be easy to miss.
You know what else is pretty cool? Everyone who can't fly, it would be super duper easy to be like, hey, I'm just gonna have one big Green Lantern bubble.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't do that. He splits it up,
Hmm.
and some of them are like walking on Plastic Man and stuff.
Yeah.
Blue
And I
Beetle,
like that John Stewart, like him, it's not all a bubble. Like his is
it's a
like a
platform.
platform. Yeah.
Oh, carrying all the magic users, all the magic women.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Blue Beetle riding Machine Man. That's
Maybe if they
funny.
were encased, they wouldn't be effective. So that's cool that they did a platform
That's
so they
true.
can still kind of.
Everyone
Gonna
else is
use their
just
powers.
traveling, but they're using their powers. Oh, did you notice on the upper left, there is another Green Lantern thing, and I can't really
Oh,
pinpoint
another
who's making
platform.
that.
But yeah.
But it's another
Oh,
platform, but
this one. It's a like a female lantern.
it it's Jade. Oh yeah, it's Jade, Alan Scott's daughter. But it's not the same shape platform. It's
Yeah,
more of a
that's right.
wedge. Okay. Let's move on to the next one because we could literally talk about this one for
Yeah.
days. Let's move on to the next one. So this is the last one. You brought this up to me. You said you ran into it, and I read this comic as a kid,
I remember I
and
did a study of this.
I immediately was like, I know exactly the comic he's talking about. Tom, Carl Barks, Donald Duck. What do you think?
Yeah, this guy too was like a master storyteller. I love that like it was you who showed him to me, but like reading through his stuff, it's like, damn, this dude is like a master at storytelling. I like how it's very clear, very concise. Like it's almost like earlier we were talking about, oh, if it feels right, then it's right. But with him, it's like tamang timpla. It's like every element needs to be there. Walang bawas, walang kulang. Like everything is there for a purpose. I'm gonna have to read through this again. I can't remember what I told you, but I think what I liked about it is it's such a simple premise,
Uh-huh.
and yet when you have your reveal, like it all like it still makes sense.
Yeah, so in this one, it is trick or treat. The Donald and the boys are trying to play a trick on someone, and this guy says, "Hey, why don't you put that car on that roof?" Apparently, this is just a thing that they did way back then. And as it turns out, they were tricked because this
Hmm.
guy is running an
Just
antique
free
shop.
labor.
It's free labor, so they were the ones tricked.
That's cool. It's like a one-two punch. Like, but I'm like you almost hear it at the end.
And also, I was talking about artistic cheats. Three of these drawings are silhouettes,
Hmm.
but
And
it's
yet it,
okay.
it it makes sense. Like it's all clear.
It's not
Like
so
you don't
much
get
cheating.
lost
It
in it.
makes sense, yeah, because it happens at night.
Yeah, this is cool, man. This is such a cool pen. I like a cool page, and it's all in one page too.
All in one page, a done in one story.
I think
Uh,
what I said to you before, it was so economical.
that's it. That's it. Not a line wasted.
The economy of his storytelling. Yeah,
What do you think of the way he does gesture? And like just like if you take a look at the way
they're
Donald is
they're very
running.
expressive. Because even if you look at the silhouettes, they're not static. Even though they're just standing, there's
Hmm.
like a curve to them. There's like a dynamic dynamism to even the static shots. That's why even the running shots, if you turn it into silhouettes, like it reads so well.
And
This
like
movement.
and I think what impresses me most on that running shot is the forward motion. Donald is
Mhm.
slanted forward, so it
And
really
it's cool
takes you
right
through.
here where they're all running, and then they go to the scene where they're kind of slowing down. You almost feel it, and it's cool how
Yes.
it leads right into it. Kind of like what Bruno Redondo did in that page that we saw
Yeah.
of Robin into Nightwing. That's kind of the same thing here, where it's cheating space and time. Because
That's
look at
it.
that, even that, it looks like a continuation of it, where it feels cinematic, and yet it's so economical. It's just showing two panels, and yet the gutter is containing so much information between just these two panels next to each other. It's so cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So that is Carl Barks. And tamang tama because my Google Meet is about to die for
Yeah,
a second time.
yeah. But before that, it almost feel like a oneer,
A
like a
wonder?
Steven Spielberg oneer in your
Ah,
mind. Like it's like you could
you can see it.
trace
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
you can see it. And that,
from
dude,
the full run to the slow trot.
and that last pose by Donald's at the end is that's just cartooning genius.
And if you look at it, it really is cinematic. Because look at that, the oneer from them running, the
Mhm.
slow to here, and then it opens up to the final reveal.
Yeah.
So it has a very cinematic quality. That's cool. And to think this
That
was
is
what, like
cool.
50s?
50s, 1950s.
Another.
We can learn. We like the thing is, I don't. I'm not the kind of guy to say like old comics were better or anything. I think what's good is good, right? Like if it was great in one era, it's gonna be great in another era.
Yep. And I think with so
Um,
much limitation, like you have intention and purpose. It's kind of like with pixel art. It's the same for like old video games. Like if you go back to like the RAM days where they
mhm.
had limited resources when they were making Mario, when they were making Pokemon, all these games. Like even the LucasArts point and click adventure game. Because you have
Yeah,
these limitations, and yet with those limitations, you soar because everything you do is purposeful. That you're creating so much with like such a limited amount of palette. It's amazing.
because here's the thing that a lot of people just starting out don't really get. You know, the thing that will free you is constraints.
Constraint. Yeah.
If you have rules that you're adhering to, then you have to do it in accordance to those rules.
Even me, my personal life, you know me with my personal projects, since I have no constraints, I can never finish it. I need deadlines and briefs.
Oh, well, then in that case, Tom, I think this is the perfect time to make our announcement.
Oh yeah.
So to close this off, if first of all, guys, if you enjoyed having Tom Rodriguez on the show to appreciate art, to dissect
Thank you
art, to
for having
analyze
me. This
art,
is fun.
let us know, and we will happily do it again. Because there's so many comics we can look at.
Yeah, oh, this was fun. I learned so much. This is cool.
I learned so much. You did most of the talking, but I do
No, but
think
like
that
it's just
like
us looking at them, like their artwork. It's
in the process of talking about it, right?
yep.
There's just a lot of stuff to learn. So if you guys enjoyed that, just let me know, and we will happily do it again. But it is time for our announcement. So first of all, I have written two comics, and one of them, which I will not yet announce, I will not yet announce either of them, but I will say the one of them, Tom is doing a cover.
Yeah, it's
Um,
such a cool story too, man. Wow, what a trip.
uh,
Oh,
and the second comic that I wrote, the announcement is again, I'm not saying what it is and when it's coming out. The announcement is that Tom is drawing it.
yeah, I'm excited for that one.
So we are happy to say that we are working together on a comic.
Mm.
And because Tom said that he needs constraints and deadlines, I am happy to say right now that I will be giving him deadlines.
Yeah, I need it because if not, oh man, I get in a loop.
Which we will be talking about off camera because we are going off to go hang out with a couple of friends. So thanks so much, Tom. I'll see you in a bit.
Dude, thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. This is fun.
I'm excited for you to come back on the show.
Anytime.
All right. See you, dude.
All right. See you, brother.
Bye bye.